Alright, for today, we're going to give you a quick little tutorial on how to do video editing on the iPad using iMovie. First thing we need to do, obviously, is open up iMovie on our iPad. And I have not created a project in here, so I'm going to go create project. And we have an option right off the bat. You have the option of making a movie or a trailer. We're going to be using the movie today because it gives us a little bit more leniency and more tools. A trailer, you can pick a script and script type and put in your different clips, and it'll put together a nice little professional looking trailer for your video. But for today, we're going to do movie so you can learn the basics of video editing. By default, it'll display videos that you have in your photos area. Today I'm just going to pick from different files. So I'm going to hit Create Movie with no video selected. And as you're presented, you have three main areas. The top left area is your preview area. The top right area is your media area, and I can hit the X to close it out and bring it back up. And the bottom area is your timeline. Let's go ahead and bring in some files. So I'm going to go Files, and I'm just going to bring in some generic media first. And let's bring in a guitarist, add to the movie, and let's bring in some people. Okay, so by default, it just puts my videos in order. As I move my finger back and forth, that allows me to scrub my timeline. This white line here is called your playhead. Wherever that playhead is on a video, that's what's going to be previewed up in your area. If you'd like to go to the beginning, you hit the back arrow with the line. If I want to play my video to preview it, I hit the play button. And of course, if I want to stop previewing it, I hit the pause. Now, a couple little tricks. If I take two fingers and I pinch on my timeline, I can shrink it down so I can see my whole timeline. That allows me to see the big picture. But if I want to get down to very minute details, I can take two fingers and expand on my timeline, and that gives me a very, very zoomed in focus. So I can see almost every single frame if I wanted to on my timeline. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see a little bit more of my pictures. Now, if I want to move a clip in a different order, I just click on it. When I tap on it, it turns yellow, and I can simply rearrange it and move it where I want. So I press and hold, let go. Now it's in my new spot. So I press and hold. If I want this to the end, boom. I can do the same thing. I want the people in the front, boom. Now as we're looking at our timeline, you might notice in between we have little arrows facing each other. Those are called transitions, and depending on the length of your clip, you get a transition or you'll get a line, which means it was too short to have a transition. If I click on those two arrows, I can select that transition, and I can pick how long I'd like my transition to last. Normally those transitions are 1 second. And I can see right now my dissolve is highlighted. Maybe I want it according to a theme, which I haven't got into yet, or a dissolve, or a slide, or a wipe, or a fade, or maybe I don't want a transition. So I'm going to go with a dissolve, and I'm going to make my dissolve go 1.5 seconds. Okay, that will dissolve between the two clips, and if you want to see a preview, you can scrub your timeline, and you can see that that dissolves. Obviously, if you want a longer dissolve, you could change it to 2 seconds. And now, if I play this clip, the dissolve is 2 seconds. Okay, for me that's too long, so I'm going to go back at like a half a second dissolve. Go back, play it, scrub it near there. Boom, nice quick dissolve. Okay. Transitions are automatically put in between your clips when there is enough time in there. If you'd like to turn them off, you can turn off hit it to none, and then you will not have a transition. It'll go right between one clip to the other. So if you just want to go, we call that a hard transition, boom, right there. Okay, but I'm going to put my half second dissolve in there. All right, some of the other stuff. If I want to just trim a clip, I tap on it and it becomes yellow. I can just drag from one end to the other and shorten it up. Okay? I can also do the other end. Can do that on any clip. When a clip is selected, it's highlighted in yellow, so I can drag the bar ends. Another thing that I can also do is I can do what's called a split. Now, back in the day when they actually had film, they would literally cut this. That's why the action down there is the shape of a scissors. A split will cut it. So I can hit split there, and it just split that clip. If I didn't want to split there, up in the top right above my timeline, there is a little swooping back arrow. That is undo. So I can undo that. Now, also, if I press and hold the undo, I get a redo project edit, undo project edit. So maybe I want that split back in, I can redo it, and away we go. So I'm going to undo it right now. You also see that speed. When I have a clip selected speed, I can change my speed. 1x is the normal. I can slow it down, speed it up, wherever the playhead is at. All right, so I'm going to speed this up, so it's going to play 2 times the speed. And I can add a spot right there, so that up into the playhead, it'll play at normal speed, and then it'll play 2 times as fast. If I only want it for a little bit, I can move my timeline along here, select my timeline again, and I can say add, and I'm going to slow this back down to 1x. So now I have it fast in this middle part here, and then where I put that other selection, it'll play it back down at 1 time. Okay? I can also get rid of all those by hitting reset, and it puts it back to normal speed. What a freeze does is if I want to have part of a clip frozen, it freezes that so you have a still image. And I can go on that selection and I can make it longer if I want, so it's a longer, maybe I'm trying to show an example, I could stretch that out and automatically stretches the clip out. Again, I can also reset that to put it back to normal. Okay? Now, these clips don't have any volume or any soundtrack, so I can't show you the volume. Titles. Now, I'm going to go near the beginning of this clip, and I'm going to put a title in. Okay? When I select title, there's several different title examples that you can pick from. So I'm just going to go with the focus. Okay? And focus, as soon as I select it, it says title text here. If I click on that, I can edit my text. So I'm just going to say Demo 1. Okay. Now, once my title is in there, it's in the center of it. Maybe I'd like to move it to the lower, so I can move it to the lower, and it's going to last the whole time of my clip. So if I only want my title to last so many seconds of my clip, what I can do is I can select it and I can split it right there. And now my title only lasts as long as the section of that clip. Even though it doesn't look like it, down in the timeline it looks like my clip was split, but in my preview there's no transition there. It just goes right in there and my title goes away. So that's a way to put in titles. Okay? Now, speaking of audio, if I'd like to bring in a song, I can go into my audio, and there are soundtracks. Now, these soundtracks are royalty-free, which means you don't have to pay for them. They're able for you to be able to use. Some of them you might have to download if that's the first time you're using iMovie. I've got a couple on here. There's different categories also. There's pop, and if we go down, you'll see that there's different things. There's a chill, there's a retro, I think there's a heavy or something, or action, holidays and events, and you can choose which ones you'd want. So for this, I think we'll just put in, let's do the anythings. And if you'd like to preview it, you can preview it, and then if I hit plus, it'll add it. Now when it adds it, that audio is added as a background, which means I can't move it around or adjust it. Okay, so if I click on it, I try to move it and it won't let me do anything. That's because it runs the whole length of my video as a background song. Maybe I don't want it for the whole length. What I can do is I select that audio and I can say foreground. When it puts it in the foreground, now it's the same sound, but I can actually edit it. Maybe I don't want my audio to go all the way through. Maybe I only want that audio to be part of this first clip. So what I can do now is I can split it right there, and I can get rid of that by selecting the other part of the clip and hitting delete. Now I only have that sound right there. Okay? If I go up to the top left of my timeline where I have a little squiggly line, that's the audio section, I can do some different things. I can show my audio track. I can split my audio track, and I can throw this back in the background. So if I throw this back in the background, notice now it goes back green and I can't move it. So I usually do that once I'm done editing audio so I don't accidentally move it. And if I want to, I can turn off that audio section so I don't see it. Okay? So we've got our audio in there. I can move this around, make it shorter, longer. I'm going to put that and leave it alone. Okay? Close out our audio. Okay. One little tip that I want to give you, if you want to know what certain things are, the really cool thing about iMovie is that there's a question mark up here at the top, and if I hit that, it'll show me certain things. Okay, so if I go up here and I hit my question mark, and I click on this, I can get different things shown me that it'll pop up when I'm not recording my screen, that is. It'll show you different things of what different things are. Okay. The last thing I want to show you is the gear. Okay. The gear is your project settings, and you can have different filters if you want. Okay, vintage, silent era, and it puts it on your selected area. You can also do a theme soundtrack. You can fade in from black. You can fade out to black for your video. So if I put all these things in, notice as soon as I turn on the theme soundtrack, it puts the simple soundtrack on there, and I can change to travel. And this also changes the type of transitions that you have in there. Okay? So there's my project settings. I've got my whole soundtrack. Now when I hit done, it saves it, and it's in my projects. I can then change the name of my movie, call it my demo. All right. Now, that doesn't mean I'm done. I can go back in and edit it at any time. One last thing that I want to show you is some really cool stuff. So in the new version of iMovie, you have the capability of doing green screen effects. So on this guitarist, I'm going to put a green screen effect on this guitarist. So I'm going to add some media, and I've got some green screen loaded up. So this has a green screen. I'm going to tap it, and it's going to say add to movie or more. If I go into the more, I have some options. I can add it as a cutaway, picture-in-picture, split screen, green, blue screen, or audio only. So if I go green, blue screen, what it's going to do is it's going to throw it up on top. And now, since I have green screen on there, this plane that has a green background, the computer will replace the green with my background video. So I'm going to have a plane flying right alongside. And if I need to, I can stretch this out a little bit or move it where I'd like it to be. So I'm going to move this along a little. There we go. Okay. So you can add different things. If I'd like to put in a different video, let's just grab the people, and it's going to say, all right, more. If I want to do a cutaway, I'll select cutaway. Now we can see what a cutaway does. Boom, it's going to cut right to that and puts it on top. Okay, if I don't like that, I can undo it. I'll add some media again. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time we'll select picture in picture. So picture in picture is just that. Now I'm going to have a picture in picture on there, and the cool thing is I can take this picture and move it where I'd like. Okay, so I can drag and reposition it. I can pinch it to resize it, make it bigger. So this might be helpful if you go back and record on a camcorder or on a webcam, you giving instructions when you're doing a demonstration, and then you could put the picture in picture in there and have it over the whole thing, obviously the full length of your video. Okay? We can pinch to zoom. Once I'm done with that, I hit off of that. So there's picture in picture. I can do another one. Let's grab the guitarist on here, hit more. A split screen is just that, it'll split the screen. So there you've got a split screen in there. Okay, and I can change the position of the split screen if I want. Okay, once we have that, we can add it. Let's do one more demo. We'll put some one more thing in here. Let's grab the guitarist again. More. Well, audio only, so I don't have any audio only, so that won't work. Get rid of that, undo that. So there's no audio in there. So why would I want to do audio only? Well, maybe the video clip that I have is my narration of a video. Then I could go in there and just add in the audio from that clip and not have the video at all, and I can have that laid down as my audio track for my whole video if I'd like to. Throw that in the background and there's my narration. Okay? So once we are done with our video, again, done. I called it my demo. The last thing I want to show you is how to share it. Now, I can play it, preview it right in here and see if it's how I like it. Say done on that, or I can share it. And if I'm hooked up to the internet, I can save it right to YouTube and some different apps that I have on here. Or I can just say save video, and I'm going to save it at the highest quality possible. Now, if you have some 4K video on some of the newer iPads, you can actually do 4K. I'm going to save it HD, and then it's got to export it. Now, what exporting does is it takes all those special effects, puts them in the proper codec, and then saves it as a video file right onto your iPad. And once it's done, you can put it on YouTube that way if you'd like, or you could save it to your Google Drive or wherever you'd like to. Okay, so that's basic video editing for iMovie.